welcome back. So, are you ready for our weekly Guess What quiz? Well, don't be so sure because today's quiz is not at all normal. Welcome to a special edition of Guess What, full of surprises. A stunning musical performance, a very special love-in translation with two of our collaborators, and much more. And I'm not exaggerating, so just wait and see. So, Patricia Scalona, Marius Serra, Matthew Tree, Mark Roderick, welcome. And of course, let's welcome our quizmaster, Sergi Cervera, who will tell us all about today's show. Sergi, hello.
Hi, Marcela. Thanks for having me. Welcome, everybody, to the extra-large edition of Guess What? So, to begin with, as you can see, we don't have two contestants, but two teams that will compete against each other. So, in our first team, we have Patricia and Marius. They are together for the very first time. So how does it feel like to be together on the same...
Finally!
On the same boat, guys? How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels great.
Exactly. Good, great.
Absolutely.
It's lonely up there, you know, where winners live.
Exactly. You guys feels like winner today. Oh, okay, so as you are in the same boat for the very first time, as I said, your team will be called Titanic. I hope that brings you good luck on the quiz. You love it. You are a Titanic team because you are in the same boat. Like.
Could it be Love Boat instead?
Titanic love boat.
Yeah.
Titanic dash love boat.
Okay.
But I'm sure this will have a happy ending.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. And their competitors are no others than Matthew Tree and Mark Broderick. So your team will be called Matthew...
The iceberg.
No. Come on.
So close.
Will be called Matthew Broderick for sure.
Oh my God.
No, not that
The
Matthew.
USS Matthew Broderick, no? We
Like
shoot
the
those guys
Hollywood
down.
actor.
Like the Hollywood actor, but look at that, but not this one, not this
Oh
Matthew
my
Broderick,
God.
because we have created our own Matthew Broderick. So, had you ever wondered what a kid of both of you would look like? We have mixed your DNA, and here is the result. Okay, Matthew Tree and Mark Broderick becoming Matthew Broderick.
Where's the exit?
Well,
Oh my God.
You can't leave.
Sergi, I must say for me, this is a bit unsettling.
Makes sense.
How do you feel
Yeah,
about
for you,
it?
for you it's unsettling. My
For
God.
everyone,
So,
right?
so we can compare it with the real Matthew Broderick. For scientific purposes, no, just to have a bit of a laugh. So here we are.
He looks like a middle-aged psychopath. He looks like, lock your children up, this guy's coming after them, you know? Like, Jesus Christ. Who would have known me that such a psychopath?
My God.
There you go.
Oh God, it's awful.
My eyes are burning.
It's really
Word.
horrible.
So, okay, Matthew Broderick team, aren't you afraid of competing against the Titanic team?
Absolutely
Yes.
not. They're
They
going
have been
down.
practicing.
Get
They
on the
have
team.
been
Get on-
I'm
practicing.
terrified. You know.
So half a year. They've been rehearsing for half a year.
Yeah.
So look at them. They look
We
calm.
are
They
not
look.
the danger here. You are.
I am.
Yeah,
Are you
man,
talking
I mean,
to the
look,
quizmaster in the very last show?
They've unleashed a demon amongst us today. I was
Okay.
like, what is doing?
So since this show is dedicated to fun, we will be focusing on stories and not any stories. We know every one of you had stories from around the world, so we have asked each team two stories. One is true, the other one is false, of course. The other team will have to guess which one is the right one and which one is the false one. So let's start with Matthew Broderick's team. And Patricia and Marius, please pay attention.
All ears.
Exactly, all ears. And Marcela, to begin with,
That's it.
where did the first story take place?
Right, Sergi. Well, apparently in Beijing. Allegedly, either Mark or Matthew, we don't know. One of them played poker with some Chinese mafia henchmen.
So, Patricia and Marius, Titanic team, first point at stake. Which one do you think it is? Mark or Matthew?
Playing poker?
With a,
Exactly.
with a
With the
hand.
mafia.
Poker with the Chinese mafia
With Chinese. Where? In Beijing?
in Beijing. That's right. I know, but
I would say Mark.
we'll see.
You said Mark.
No, I would say Matthew because he's like, he doesn't seem like it, but he's, you know, he's the
There we
kind of guy
go.
who's been everywhere.
There
he's
we
done
go, guys.
everything.
He knows how
5,
to play.
4,
Okay.
3,
Let's go.
2,
Matthew?
1.
Matthew.
Matthew, that means that 0 points for Titanic team. The ship is sinking.
Yes.
So
First strike
it
for
is-
Matthew Broderick, the psychopath.
So it is Mark, or so he says.
Or so I say, yes.
Can you tell us about it?
Sure, I'll give you a brief resume. It was the summer of 2012.
Ta-da.
Me, as a young man, arrived in Beijing with great hopes of getting to know the local culture. I decided to join a couch surfing event, which I later turned out to be basically a bunch of rich upper-scale Chinese women looking for white men. I soon evaded the party and disappeared with an Australian guy. Nothing else. We just said this was the last time I ever trusted an Australian. By the way.
You know that that time. I mean, the clock is
The time is
ticking,
different.
right?
Okay, so basically,
Let's go for the headline.
I ended up with an Australian guy in this dingy bar in Beijing in Hutong, and all of a sudden I see these guys in the corner playing poker, and I said, "Oh God, that looks like amazing fun." So I went over and I started talking to them, all covered in tattoos and everything, and it was like, "Of course, shit, this is awesome." The Aussie guy saw it from the very, very beginning, and he got the hell out of there. I sat down and I said, "Okay, guys, let's go. I've got a couple of yuan in my pocket," and I ended up playing until the sun came up. Where there was a moment where I wasn't sure whether they were going to let me leave or not with all of my kidneys intact. So I walked out in the morning. I lost all of my money and my dignity, and probably a lot of other things in between. But it definitely, I'm from that moment on, life became better because I realized, you know, if I can get away from that, I can get away from anything. And I ended up having breakfast outside of my hotel in the morning with an old man who actually we were drawing pictures in order to communicate. It was kind of funny. And I ate a 100-year-old egg, I believe, in that time as well. So there you go. 1 minute and 30 seconds.
So finally,
a
we
quick,
have known,
a quick idea.
So
Nice
finally,
story.
we have known where he lost his dignity.
yes, yes.
And
And-
that life gave him a second chance.
There
And
you go.
I got
There
a
you
second
go.
chance at life.
There
and
you
here
go.
I
So-
am competing to sink the Titanic.
To sink the
It was all
Titanic.
building up to this moment.
There we go.
this
This is
competition
the
business,
second
eh?
point
you have no
that
idea
is
how
at stake. Is
Okay.
it true? Marius, Patricia? So before we move on to Matthew's story, you can ask Mark questions for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. So 3, 2, 1, go!
What kind of poker were you playing?
Chinese poker. I didn't understand the rules very well. I had a guy with me.
How many people were at the table?
8.
What was your Australian friend's name?
I don't remember, but I remember seeing him in a hostel in Langzhou about 2 months later, and I avoided him like the plague. No, 2 weeks later, I avoided him like the plague.
Were you drinking?
Yes, Johnny Walker Blue.
That's nice.
In China?
In China.
Yeah, they bought out a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue as soon as the white guy sat down with the Asians. They were like, "Okay, bring out the best stuff for him." Plus, they took all my money, so I paid for it in losing.
So what did you say that you felt danger, that you were not going to
Because
go
it was a moment when they shut down the shutters, okay, and it was kind of everything went quiet, and I was still playing, and I was like, "Oh shit, they've closed down the doors. They're surely going to take my kidneys here, or you know." I was on my own. The Australian guy had disappeared. Don't trust Australians.
You
Sorry.
said 100-year-old egg?
Yes, in the morning I ate a 100-year-old egg. I remember that for breakfast now. You know these eggs they bury
1
in the
minute
ground? They're
left.
called 100-year-old eggs.
And how did you get to your hotel?
I stumbled.
You
I stumbled because I was a little bit, you know, drunk.
You
And
guys
I wasn't
have
too far
reached
away.
the
It was
point.
in a hutong. Hutongs can be, if you've ever been in Beijing, a hutong has these small little alleys and stuff like that. It was quite tricky, but
You
eventually I
were
found my way.
stumbling by foot, you mean?
I went by foot, yes, not by rickshaw.
3 seconds, more or less.
He's so full of shit, you can never tell.
You can never tell me to see.
Telling the truth or not.
Little did you know, I have played this game so many
You're-
times.
you're-
I'm very good at it.
You're wasting your final seconds. Go
Come
for
on.
it.
Yeah,
last questions. No?
We have to say it now?
16 seconds. You have
No, you
16
don't have to
seconds.
decide.
One
no,
more
but
question, come on.
Okay,
Yeah, enjoy it.
how many words do you speak in Chinese?
I learned how to say PGO, which is beer. I learned how to say ni hao, which is hello, and I learned how to say rice, which I don't remember.
Time's up.
Okay, so you
Time's
don't have to decide right now, but do you think it sounds true or false?
False, you think?
Yeah, I think
It's false.
more false than
We don't want to
false.
believe you.
Okay, keep the information for now and listen to Matthew's story. So, which is along the same lines, isn't it, Marcela?
Well, let's see. Here it says that Matthew was taken for a Russian mobster in Belarus by, let's say, a lady of the night. Let's use a euphemism.
Matthew, as Prince Charles once said, we are all ears.
Please don't mention Prince Charles. That's thrown me right up.
All right, so
Okay, so let's start.
Okay, this was a couple of years ago, and I went to Minsk, the capital of Belarus. I went there because I was working on a novel, and I needed to go there for the novel. And I went into the hotel, which I'd booked, and the first thing they asked me was, "You want to go to the casino, right?" I said, well, no, I just want a room for the night, you know. So they looked at me a bit strangely, but then I went to my room, went to bed, and then gradually I started hearing all this knocking in the hotel, all this knocking on doors, and I looked at the watch, and it was like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, all this knocking, and I thought, wow, people are really asking for room service really late, you know. And then there was a knock on my door, and I opened it, and there was a young lady standing there in the door talking to me in Russian. And I don't know if she mistook me for a mobster, but she certainly thought I was a Russian businessman, because most of the men in that hotel seemed to be business type. And it took me a while to realize that this wasn't room service, that she was a prostitute, and that she'd mistaken me. She'd got the wrong door, in other words. And then when she saw I didn't understand Russian, she explained a little in very broken English and realized that in fact it was the door next door that she had to go to. And it was only afterwards, the day afterwards, that I discovered every single hotel in Minsk has a huge casino, because gambling is banned in Russia. So the Russians fly into Minsk for the weekend, play whatever it is, gamble, and of course that's where the prostitutes congregate around the hotels.
And that's the story. All right, so Marius and Patricia again, make the most of your 2 minutes to ask him questions. 3, 2, 1, go.
Do you remember the name of the hotel?
Boom.
No, I don't. No.
And what did the woman look like? The lady of the night that knocked on your door?
She was shorter than me. She was blonde. I don't think she was a natural blonde. And
That's an important detail.
and she was.
Excuse me, how would you know, actually?
Well, you can
There's
sort
only
of,
one way
you
of
can
finding
sort
that
of
out,
tell.
right?
Yes, I know. Yes, but I didn't get that far.
You sure?
You're telling the truth, but are you telling all the truth?
Did the carpet match
Yes,
the
I know. I'm
drapes?
telling the whole truth.
Hey,
but
he's in your team, Mark. Don't mock your own team.
What else?
How did she was dressing?
She was wearing quite a tight-fitting blue dress.
What time was it, more or less?
Well, I've been looking at my watch several times. It must have been around between 2:30 in the morning.
All right, you have reached the middle point, so 1 minute left.
How many nights did you stay at the hotel?
At that particular hotel, 2 nights. Two
And
nights.
that only happened the first night.
That's right, because I arrived on a Saturday night, which seems to have been the peak time, let's say, for
Did you visit
this
the,
kind of
the
activity.
casino afterwards? Did you visit the casino?
No, I don't gamble. No, I had no interest in seeing the casino. I don't have that kind of money, Marius.
Smart
Not
ass.
even out of curiosity.
No. I've never been
All
to
right, 30 seconds, guys. Final questions.
I have quite clear ideas.
Or you have the
about
information
both
enough.
of them.
I'm going to listen to you this time.
Yeah.
How did she react when you told her, no, you weren't a client?
Quite simply, she
Five,
just she
4,
smiled and
3,
just said she'd made a mistake.
2, 1. Time's up.
Okay, so who's the liar in your opinion?
Is Matthew
In my
or is
opinion,
Mark?
the liar is Mark.
Who's the liar?
Clearly Mark.
Okay,
That sounds
In
like
my
a beautiful song to sing. Who's
let's
the
go.
liar? Who's the liar?
You said.
Mark.
Mark. Okay, guys, uncover yourself. Who's the liar?
You guys lose again.
Oh, point goes to no one. The
Yes, don't you
sheep
know
is
that I live a crazy and
sinking.
wonderful life, that all kinds of strange shit happens to me?
So Matthew Broderick is actually an iceberg.
Yes, and we're sinking
Okay.
the Titanic. Hey,
All
high
right.
five, come on, come on.
We have to do this?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we do.
Okay, so we've got two stories with
was quite sure.
mafia, mobsters, and all that in
Who would've
China, in Belarus. Very
you go.
exotic stories. But the fact that this story isn't true doesn't mean that everything of it is false. Like all good lies, it is based on a true story.
So you have the opportunity to win 1 point for every one of the following true or false
Now
statements.
it's
So
our
3
time.
points at stake. You still can win something.
You can use these, okay?
Okay,
True
true or
and
false.
All right. So I'm gonna read out one statement, okay? And you have to tell me if it's true or if it's false.
That's right.
Okay? 1. Matthew did end up in a hotel that was a casino where lightly dressed ladies were walking along the corridor offering intimate services. Is that
Okay.
true or false? Matthew did end up in a
that he
hotel
did?
that was a
That he did
casino
end up in that
where
casino.
lightly dressed ladies were walking
that's
along the corridors offering intimate
think that's
services.
true.
Yeah?
Is it true or is it false?
True, right?
Exactly. True. Is that your final point? Good, because means you got 1 point. It's
Finally.
true. It's
Finally.
true.
Exactly.
It's true.
Iceberg.
Yeah,
Next.
it's melting just a little bit.
Okay, guys, next. When Matthew opened the door to know who it was, he was indeed approached by a girl named Natasha, or so she said, in his own hotel room.
Natasha.
What do you think about it?
I think that might be false.
True or false?
Because so
Russian,
yeah, let's say false. False. Let's say
False means 2 points for the Titanic team.
Okay.
That's right. I mean, that's false. And 3. Matthew traveled to Minsk to do research for a novel about Catalan spy in Belarus. True or false?
he
What do you
did
think?
travel, but for a Catalan spy in Belarus.
What do you feel?
Absolutely done.
Look,
It's
this poker
uncanny, then
face.
maybe true?
His name was Joma Bond.
That's true.
True.
True?
Yeah?
That means 0 points for you. I was creating an expectation.
Well, no
It's
problem,
false.
you tried.
Iceberg.
Ah, yeah.
Jaume
Joma Bond,
Jaume Bond
exactly.
confused you.
Yeah, but
Okay, so the score is so far.
Titanic
2 points
is
for
leading.
Titanic.
Exactly, Titanic is leading. But
Okay,
Matthew Broderick
well-
haven't had the chance yet.
Well, anyway, I think you've done well enough. Now, before we listen to Patricia and Marius's stories, let's watch a video. The Guess What quiz show is not just about competition, but also about lots and lots of laughter, and we have gathered some of these fun moments, so check them out.
Bing, bing, ready? Ready like ready? Ready like ready?
Ready.
Okay.
Ready for ready?
Ready like ready?
This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun.
Patricia. In thunder, lightning,
Macbeth.
Macbeth, that's
Okay.
correct. Say good night,
Romeo
Patricia.
and Juliet.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Lend me your ears. I come to Patricia.
Julius Caesar.
Julius Caesar. She's interrupting my performance all the time. What, Patricia?
Much Ado About Nothing.
Absolutely. Whoa, she has been studying. Patricia.
Ah!
5.
Go.
Marius.
Midnight Summer.
Absolutely. Point to you, Mario. Dickens' most famous orphan. Marius.
Oliver Twist.
Of course. Marius.
Heidi.
Heidi, correct.
Wait a minute.
No.
Wait a minute.
Tick tock, tick tock.
Marius.
Pippi Langström.
There you
Swedish,
go.
Swedish.
Marius.
Matilda.
Matilda, correct. Next, he's friends with Huckleberry Finn. Patricia. 5, 4,
Tom.
3, 2, 1.
I can't believe it.
Tom Sawyer.
There you go, correct.
And Happy New Year.
We just trust you.
Well,
That's why we picked that game. Okay. Your table full. And Time's up.
Second.
What were you fishing, Moby Dick?
That's Moby Duck. Yes, of course. A beautiful book.
The three little.
Paul MacDonald had a farm.
E-I-E-I-O.
Point to Patricia.
Thank you, of course, Sergi.
Searching your name.
Sergio.
Sergius Cerverus. So where were we? Yes, we were taking. Sorry. La pastillita en la memoria. Yeah. To be or not to be, that is the question.
Whether it is noble in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of the outrageous fortune.
I'm going to live through this, and when it's all over, I'll never be hungry again. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? Hello, Mrs. Socks. How you doing, sweetheart?
You have absolutely no shame. Why in the world did we get up mad in Quizmaster? You can say that again.
I won't deny it.
Well, so Sergi, I don't know what to think about this kind of unfinished business between you and Patricia. So tell me, I don't know, are you even friends? What kind of relationship do you guys have?
They caught us, Patricia. The world knows now.
Business is absolutely finished.
It's
I mean,
finished.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Completely.
Yesterday, you, no, that's the first time. I mean, I didn't know that. What do you mean? They're like finished, like finished?
You have
But
to
yesterday
have,
was
Shut up,
different.
let me talk.
Yeah, sorry.
You need to have your head checked out because we haven't talked, since last week when I
have
was
some
here.
videos.
So-
Some videos. Everyone watched it. I mean, it's obvious, Patricia. But anyways, all right. So I have kept count, and Patricia, my love, you have won
got a
12
stalker.
out of the 18 guess what quizzes. So did you think I was going to let you go without a prize? Did you?
What do you mean, Sergi?
I mean that I have a
I'm
little
scared.
something for you.
What is
A
this?
surprise. Let's see.
Oh, God.
He's such a gentleman.
I'm a gentleman.
No, he's
Yeah.
not.
All right.
Guess what?
Guess what? What is it? What is
Nice.
it? Show it to the camera.
That way.
See, your obsession
Hey,
with books
well done.
and movies has finally paid off.
It's not an obsession. It's called general culture, actually.
Well, and
Ooh, that
Marius,
was-
Thank you so much, though.
Well,
You're
Marius,
very
don't
welcome.
worry because I think we have a T-shirt for you as well.
Really?
Isn't that right?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
great. With
That's-
size?
That's the revenge. That's
That's
Yes.
so sweet.
Oh,
That's great.
very nice.
Big enough. Big
That's
enough.
an obsession.
So, which reminds me, Marius, that we need to solve the last quiz of the season, no?
Yeah, that it was a good time to solve with my friends of Iceberg team.
Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Broderick, get it right.
Matthew Broderick. Okay.
We are the
It was
Iceberg
a
team.
bird, a powerful bird dreamt by golf players. It was 5 letters.
Look how threatening
Easy.
he looks.
It's easy. You are
It's
a golf
easy.
player.
I already know the answer.
Okay.
Do you want me to give you the
You
answer?
can say.
Yeah.
Eagle.
Eagle. That's it. That's okay. Do you play golf?
Do we get a point for that?
No, you don't.
Come on, I was hoping to get a double point for that.
Absolutely not.
Do you play golf?
I used to watch a lot of golf. I played golf on the PlayStation, Tiger Woods golf.
on the PlayStation. Oh
Much
my
more
God.
comfortable.
Well, thank you, Mark. And that was the last guess word of the season. Well, congratulations to all our viewers who got it right. And many thanks to all of you, especially to the master of guess word, Mario Serra, of course.
Thank
And
you.
now it's time to listen to the Titanic team stories.
Let it be, let it be.
Today we'll have a unique musical act. Don't miss Mario Serra and Patricia Scalona's performance.
Speaking words of wisdom, let it be.
And let's continue with our special Guess What? We found out about the dangerous stories of Matthew Broderick team.
So hold on. Can we see the fusion between them two another time, please? Can we see it
Are
again?
you sure about that?
Yes,
Yeah, are
yes.
you really
yeah. There we go. There we go.
Christ
I just
almighty.
need it. I just needed to watch it again. I just need it. So
I don't know what to
cute,
say.
so
Like he didn't
stunning.
do
You
that
guys
with
look
us.
stunning. So Matthew Broderick
Can't
team.
leave the set. Just let me off the set.
I think they will have a nightmare about this. I
We
don't
all
know.
will have a nightmare.
Yes,
about
yes,
it, yeah.
yes.
But
I'm already
anyways,
having one.
let me move forward. So Matthew Broderick team will have to listen to the Titanic team stories. I mean Matthew Broderick. So Marcela, where did the first story take place?
Well, looks like it's Mexico. Either Marius or Patricia,
Ay, ay,
well,
ay.
claims he or she got lost under a Mexican pyramid.
Ay, ay, ay. So, Matthew Broderick, now's your turn. Who do you guys think, they're already thinking about it,
Yeah.
who do you guys think this story belongs to?
Well, we both know that probably both of them have been to Mexico, but probably there's only one of them that would get lost. Will they say it?
Yeah.
Marius.
Marius.
Why would you say that?
Do you ever see
Why would you
Patricia
say
getting
that?
lost in life, in anything? Patricia's
you
a
have-
winner. She just
Okay.
wins things. She doesn't get lost.
Okay, that means that
That's a
point
wrap.
goes to no one, because actually was Patricia.
You got lost.
I get lost all the time. I have no sense of direction whatsoever.
Okay, so she's
Why
not
didn't
perfect.
you tell us that before?
Hey, she's not perfect, exactly, and she always wins, even in this situation, she won. Look
yeah.
at that.
You
Sorry
are
about that.
lost
I
in
was just sure.
translation, in fact.
Sorry, Marius. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, so Patricia must start telling her story in 3, 2, 1, go!
I don't know if I'm going to be able to say this fast, but I was in Mexico. It was 2010. We were there for this wedding of a friend, and then we took off to Chiapas to see the pyramids. And there was like 10 of us, you know, a lot of friends traveling together.
A lot.
So we went to see, I think it was Palenque or something like that. I can't remember for sure because we saw a lot of them. So we went to these pyramids, and to get to, you know, these fields that they have, the Mayans, where they played football, but with, you know, severed heads.
know.
To get to those fields and then the pyramids, you had to go under these tunnels, you know, and the tour guide told us that these tunnels were, there was a legend that these tunnels that were used by kings, by Mayan kings, to escape in case of danger, you know. So anyway, and they escaped under the riverbed, you know, that was just by the pyramid. So we went to this field and we saw it, and I was like watching the lush vegetation and the monkeys that were all around, and suddenly the
So you saw
tour guide-
Sergi there, yeah?
Sorry, yeah.
That's where she found me. Keep talking,
It's
sorry.
okay. The guide says, let's go up the pyramid. And I'm not very fond of going up places because I've got vertigo. So I decided I wouldn't go. And not to bother my friends, I didn't tell them anything because I didn't want anyone to stay with me. So after a while, I got bored of being in that field watching the monkeys, and I decided to go back. And so I went back into the tunnels with the help of a guide.
And
the end of the
and
story.
then I ended up there wandering around, and suddenly the guide wasn't there anymore.
Okay, so...
And I got a little bit scared because I had been there for a while, and I didn't know what to do.
So she didn't know, and you, Matthew Broderick, it's time for you to ask her questions. You've got 2 minutes. 3, 2, 1, now!
What was the connection between the wedding and the tour? How come you went on a tour when you were supposed to be going to a wedding?
The wedding was in a place in the south of Mexico. So after that, the bride and groom didn't go on their own honeymoon, but they honeymooned with us, with friends.
What were you wearing?
What? Sorry?
What were you wearing?
I was
Just
wearing
because we have curiosity to know.
No. What were you wearing? You remember?
probably like a t-shirt and some short pants because it was really hot.
How long were you lost for?
A long time.
Exactly how long?
I don't know. I don't know
Was
how
it
long.
an hour, 2 hours, a week?
It might have been. I don't have that.
Might have been a week.
No, not a week. Not a week. No.
He sounds like a detective, like a detective or something. Like Sherlock.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. I don't know what he's trying to do, but whatever. So no, a long time. I don't know. I didn't look at my watch.
Have you ever been up the Eiffel Tower?
No.
Okay.
Ever.
What's this thing about the monkeys? You were watching the monkeys. Why only the monkeys? There must have been lots of wildlife in that area.
Those were the most, that, as you very all know, I'm not very fond of nature. And, you know, I don't care that much about it. So I was just there, and the most visible part of nature were big trees and monkeys. So that's it.
Do you remember the name of the pyramid you went to?
30 seconds, guys.
Do you remember the name of the pyramid you went to?
I think it was Palenque, but I'm
Palenque.
not
You
sure.
said that right, Palenque.
So,
One last question.
Yeah, why do you think the tour guide left you alone?
Because I was there, because he disappeared.
Yeah, I'm
I was
saying,
there-
why do you think he left you alone?
Why?
Inside a Mexican pyramid?
I have no idea.
I mean, was it in purpose? Was he trying to?
It was for me to go towards the light.
Come on.
You know, at some point it was for me to
Okay.
go myself towards the light.
10 seconds. One last question. One very quick and fast last question. 3,
Matthew.
2,
Matthew Broderick has no more
One.
questions. No more questions.
Zah!
Really
Okay.
good questions anyway. So for now, do you think it sounds true or false?
And just to
Just
know.
what we think.
Just what you were
Exactly.
wondering.
Okay.
I think it's false.
Okay.
Or part of it is false.
Okay,
Right.
so now we're gonna move forward, and we really wanna know Mario's story because it's completely different. It has more to do with the writer.
So, according to what Marius says, he came across one of the most prolific writers in the world, the woman who married Lady Diana's father, no
All
less.
right, so Marius, you take the floor. I mean, don't have to dance though.
No,
Just-
I was very young, as Matthew knows, because we have talked about it more than once. I was 18 years old, and I was with a girlfriend traveling around to Scotland, and in a little village up to the north, maybe at Highlands, I don't remember exactly the name, we went to a little shop to buy some, well, I think we need something to eat or something. It was a very little shop. And there, when we came into, I saw a huge woman, like I was thinking all dressed in pink. I was thinking about Helmut Kohl as a woman. Now I would say Boris Johnson, all dressed in pink, right? And I thought, whoa, what I got? And my girlfriend told me, she's famous. She's famous. And I said, famous? What? She's famous. You want to be a writer? You're a writer. She's a famous writer. And I was just, but she heard us. And as she was very proud of herself being there, being very magnificent and important, a very deep, told us, oh, hello, youngsters, how are you? And youngsters.
Youngsters,
Youngsters.
referring to
Yeah,
Marius.
that was a word. That was a word, because she talked it in a very special, very formal manner. And he opened her bag and took from the inside a booklet in pink, all pink, of course, with a picture of her on the cover. And gave it to us, and it was just a catalog of more than hundreds of novels written by her.
Yeah.
And she was very young and very, very
You
beautiful.
have to go to the last
And-
part of the story.
Okay, I just took it and said,
Don't feel pressure.
okay, we are in love. You are a love writer, so you have to write a novel about us, and went out without that.
Oh,
And I
come on,
thought,
Marius. You didn't ask for an autograph?
and no, absolutely. I thought it wasn't true
It was-
at all. And she was Barbara Catlin.
Okay.
In person.
All right, so you guys, Matthew Broderick, you have 2 minutes to put this story to the test. And remember that even the false story has elements of truth. 3, 2, 1, go!
What language were you and your girlfriend speaking?
We were speaking in diverse languages, but mostly in Catalan.
Diverse languages. What the hell does that mean?
diverse because we are Babelic people.
But what was the name of the town?
I don't remember, really. I don't remember. It was, I think, in the Highlands.
What was the
A
weather?
very little village, but we were just going by interrailing, because we have no money. We were backpackers, and I don't remember, really.
If you were speaking in Catalan, how come Barbara Catlin seemed to understand what you were saying?
No, because she didn't understand what we were saying, but she just heard or saw that we were watching her, looking at her, and my girlfriend told me something about her. And it was a really very small shop. So she got used to our presence.
You were in a shop.
In a shop.
What were you buying?
Something to eat.
What did you eat?
Well, something cheap.
Something cheap like the pink dress she was wearing.
No, chips. I mean chips. Or M&M's, something like that.
M&M's like that?
M&M's like that. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I think he's playing his ass
With
off
a
here.
backpacking, and you have to eat whatever you
That's
take.
getting intense. They're tough.
You said you were backpacking, and then you said you were going on Interrail.
Yeah, and then they were in a shop buying something.
30 seconds, guys.
Yeah, of
What,
course.
what were you doing? Because the rail system is quite limited in Scotland.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but we were backpacking and going to bed and breakfast or
Walking.
by walking, of course, from the station. But there was a rail station there at that.
Last
if
question.
not, we couldn't
10, 9,
go there.
8, 7,
She said to you,
6,
she said to you, hello,
5,
youngsters? you
4,
said?
Youngsters.
3,
I
2,
remember that word.
1. Time's up.
Remember, there's elements of their story that has to be
Okay.
correct,
So
All right.
now you have to decide which story is true, Patricia's story or Marius's story.
all the facts that Marius mentioned are
Yes.
correct.
I know.
About Barbara Cartland.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
not very
Matthew
good
knows,
for
Matthew
television
knows.
because
Okay,
there's two
sorry.
people like whispering.
Yes,
we are
yes,
on
yes, yes.
television.
Okay,
so
so-
let's put some drama on it,
Right.
please.
Matthew, explain your hypothesis.
Yeah, all the details about Barbara Cartland are absolutely correct. The way she dressed, her size, the person she was married to, the number of books she wrote, all that is absolutely correct. What the hell she was doing in a little shop in Scotland, that's another question. I'm not so sure about that. On the other hand, what I find tricky about Patricia's story is that I don't understand the bit about the tour guide. What kind of professional tour guide leaves a woman alone in a dark space in a place that she doesn't
woman
know
or
at
a
all?
man.
A woman or a man.
And
but-
all this talking is to lead to.
Well, I mean, I think I know where you're going with this.
What
I kind of want to go with Marius.
Oh, come on,
this
just
time,
put
because I
one
think
name
there's
on the
something.
table.
I think there's something wrong with that story, but I don't know.
Which story is true? Which story?
The
is
story is true.
Which story is true?
This is the last the weekly mag. We need a name
You think
now.
Marius is true? Okay,
3,
I'm gonna go with you this
2,
time.
1.
Marius is true.
Okay. Titanic team. Who is the liar?
Who is the liar? Go ahead, darling.
My story was true.
Your story was true?
My story was true.
Patricia. She's the liar.
Yes.
I wouldn't say
not
that.
completely, not
Just
completely.
a little too many details in the
Yeah, the
story.
monkeys, the severed heads.
Okay, so 2
I
points,
don't know.
right? How many points? 2 points for them.
2 points for Titanic, and Matthew Broderick is 2 points, so we are even. I mean, what makes this quite exciting, actually. All right, so we are
so
moving.
exciting.
Hold on. Don't get so
for you.
excited, because now we are moving to the other part, because it's the moment that we're gonna read out some statements.
Dissect
and
her story.
3 points are at
Lies.
stake. Okay.
Okay.
So here's your chance of getting up to 3 points by guessing if the following statements are true or false.
So I start. Patricia spent some time alone in the darkness before she was found. Is that true or is that false?
False.
False, which means
Right.
1 point for Matthew Broderick. That's false. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, 2. Other tourists who'd got lost in the tunnels had been found dead of exhaustion.
True or false?
You go for this one. False.
You have to raise.
Oh, sorry, false.
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 Which means
Another point.
another point for Matthew Broderick.
Yes.
The psychopath.
Okay, this-
The middle-aged psychopath. Get it right.
Okay, and last
He's no Ted Bundy.
one. Patricia's friends panicked and thought she would got lost, and they would never see her again. Is that true or is that false?
You're in Mexico. You're lost. People get kidnapped all the time. Head severed, etc. That's true.
That's which means another point for Matthew Broderick. Correct.
Okay.
Wow, yeah, well, this is the final score. So Matthew Broderick team has won with 5 points against Titanic team with 2 tiny points. So we have a winner.
Congratulations!
Congratulations, guys.
A big applause.
Give me a hug.
For Matthew Broderick.
Can we watch the picture of Matthew Broderick one more time?
No, please, not again.
No more. It's not necessary.
There we go. I'm a happy quizmaster.
Now we promised some surprises in today's Guess What? And one of them is, one of them has to do with love. In the last season, we've seen many happy couples in our Love in Translation section, but you might know this one. And here's just a little sample for you.
I don't know. I mean, I guess the first step when I did see him on television, I took steps in order to actually meet Matthew. But I guess after the whole brushing of the shoulder incident, it became more obvious to me that more contact needed to be had.
My experience was a little different, actually.
Well, Mark and Matthew, I wasn't sure you'd accept the challenge. But not only did you participate, but also showed that in your relationship there is much more than meets the eye. And anything you want to confess before we watch the whole video?
I have platonic love for Matthew.
Not platonic. Matthew Broderick came from some place, not just platonic.
Yeah. No, I'm joking.
But you were talking about more than rubbing shoulders in that video, so
I
not that
had to
platonic.
flower it up a little bit and give it a little bit of, as you say in Catalan, chicha, a little bit of fat, to the story.
How do you pronounce platonic?
Platonic.
Like platonic?
Okay, but we need an answer. So, and we got it.
I think you got a
More
good
surprises,
answer there.
right?
More surprises, exactly. So that's not the only couple who has a surprise for us, isn't it, Marius and Patricia? Something to do with, I don't know, with music maybe?
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, the thing is that we've run out of artists and we don't want to do without a musical performance today, so we've hired a couple of contestants. Stay tuned for more surprises. Welcome back to the last episode of the season, and now we'll see a special Love in Translation. Mark and Matthew thought we hadn't noticed, but nothing further from the truth. It was an open secret.
And an open relationship.
Hi, my name is Mark. I'm from Ireland and I've lived here for 11 years.
Yeah, my name is Matthew. I'm English and I've lived here for 35 years.
To be honest, I actually met Matthew before he met me. I actually saw him on television and I was so taken aback by his ability to his communication abilities. He looked, just the way he moved on screen really attracted me, and ever since then it was like it was always my goal to finally get on screen with Matthew.
Yeah, I first met Mark in the corridors here in the Xarxa studio just before the program started. And I remember brushing past this very tall man. What I really noticed about him was that he looked very nervous and he was Irish.
Well, I was nervous because, it was the first time that I had, finally been able to touch you. Sorry.
We did brush shoulders.
Yeah, we did brush
true.
shoulders. I remember it. I didn't wash my shoulder for a week after that. It was amazing. I guess after the whole brushing of the shoulder incident, it became more obvious to me that more contact needed to be had. Any moment I could, I tried to sit beside Matthew, get his phone number, text him. I started following him on Twitter. This sounds a little bit crazy, but love does crazy things to people sometimes. So I don't really know. I guess it was me.
Well, Max introduced me to a wide range of Irish literature, which in fact is an extraordinary literature, especially when you think it comes from a very, very small country. And there's also something about the Irish I really like. They have a completely different way of thinking that's very different from the English way of thinking, and which in a way I find a bit more interesting.
The one thing that has really influenced me in as regards, let's say, English culture is actually it's toned down my bad language. Actually, you know, Matthew being from England and having, you know, speaking English in a certain way, I think he takes away a lot of the swearing and the bad language that I used to use.
I would never adopt Guinness, it gives me diarrhea.
I would never adopt a monarchy. I mean, why would you need a monarchy? Come on, please. Sorry, I had to go for the silly answer. So, yeah, that makes your blood boil, huh?
Frigging Zimbabwe.
Exactly,
yes,
the
yes.
Zimbabwe, and the fact that I maybe make too many jokes about your age. I should retract from that a little bit.
Actually,
I'm
that
sorry,
doesn't bother me.
because you know, love transcends age. I have a beautiful poster of you in my room.
There are no beautiful posters of me, Mark.
I mean, on set, have we ever said that I loved you? I don't know, but if I haven't, then I'd like to say it now. Matthew, I love you. I love you like a person would love their dog.
Okay, and I love you, Mark, in the same way as I love my two little cats.
Well, just like we thought, Sergi, love is in the air.
It is. It is.
Or prettiness in his case.
And it's also in the Irish scene. Well, but I think Matthew was the shy one.
Yeah, well, story of my life.
But I really loved it. I mean, you make a great couple, don't you think, Sergi?
Absolutely, and see what it came out of that couple. We have been seeing. I mean, I would love to watch it one more time. I mean, the result of that love that we just watched is. What is my Matthew Broderick picture?
And also, the result is we're the winners and you're the losers.
Oh, right, yeah. But you're a creep, and we're not.
You deserve that.
I did come across as
Hold on,
kind of
guys.
creepy.
This is the result of this love story, this beautiful love story that we just witnessed.
A middle-aged psychopath.
There we go.
Okay, so Marius, Patricia, Matthew, Mark, and Sergi, thank you so much for coming today, sharing these great moments with us and participating in our quiz show. And before ending the season's last episode, we have a last surprise for you, a special and exclusive performance with Patricia and Marius, who are going to sing and play together for the first time. And they'll do it especially for the Weekly Mag. So, guys, what are you going to perform?
Well,
They don't know yet. No, you do. I bet you do.
I think we can try some jam session about Let It Be.
Oh, beautiful.
We're letting
Wow,
it be after this.
amazing.
Actually.
Let it be some way to get over your loss in today's game.
We are really looking forward to it. I couldn't think of a better way to end the show. We hope that you have enjoyed this season as much as we have, and we invite you to catch up with all the episodes and different sections online and follow us on social networks. But before leaving, we'd like to thank particularly all the guests who have participated in our show and have been our partners in this adventure of practicing and improving English. Also, many thanks to all our collaborators and a special thought to the team that makes this possible every week. And finally, thanks to all of you who give the Weekly Mag a meaning and a purpose. Have a nice summer and take every opportunity to keep your English up and running.
Find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she's just standing there in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Speaking